Okay, well, what I'm doing basically is when these AI image generators first came up, I started seeing people writing in prompts and making, you write a unicorn riding a cowboy on Mars, and it comes up with a cute picture of a unicorn. And I thought, Jesus, I wonder if you could use my own work as a feed. So I just started inputting I use my own work as data, my paintings, I make a lot of ceramics, a lot of drawings, and I start throwing them in there, and it comes up with imagery that is really odd and strange, and I make little sculptures and take pictures of them and give it to the AI, and the AI comes back, and it's all my own work. So then I print out parts of it that are based on my pictures, and I use those as collage elements, and then I start adding paint and fabric and all manner of materials to kind of take a digital thing and make it analog, make it in the real world. So there's these, I hope there are combinations of like artifice and old school painting.
Well, that's the fun thing, looking at it.
That's just, right, there's a lot of artificial intelligence, AI generated art is basically people prompt something, it makes a picture, and then they frame it. And that's, to me, super boring.
I was thinking of it as like the synthesizer, like when they first invented synthesizers, I think the idea was to replace like an orchestra or a big horn section.
100%.
And the studio. But it became more interesting as just this weird
Those are
noise
totally
machine.
weird stuff.
Right, and so the weird noises that came out of these different, machines became actually more interesting.
Well, they thought drum machines would get rid of drummers,
Yeah.
which it never did, but it's created, technology is, something like AI is just here to stay. So for artists, I don't think old school painting's going anywhere, but I think as artists, they can take it and use it in interesting ways if they choose. It's not better or worse, it's just another sort of tool like Photoshop or even a projector, or, we just use whatever, sewing machine's a tool.
So how does your collage on the computer become this?
Well, their parts are printed out, are literally printed and adhered to the surface. And then I go in with paint. Sometimes I use airbrush and I use different materials. I use wax, like encaustic and different things. So I'm trying to take that kind of digital quality and make it a thing, an object. And the shape part helps that, I think, that it becomes like a sculptural. And the newer ones I'm adding ceramics to, like literally ceramic appendages.
So these are collages and then painted.
They're collage
and
and
then developed
Yeah.
from that.
Yeah.
And so they're
all
those are
sorts
the
of
starting
things.
point. and you go
It's a
from
starting point, yeah. And there are all sorts of I wanted to make it where you can't tell what's digital, what's me, what's the machine, but somebody said to me, why don't you mix one of your pieces with a Picasso, but that would defeat the whole point of it. The whole point is me collaborating with me.
Well, I'm curious because, we've been talking about how painting is now and how it's evolved and grown. I wonder about how much you really think it's all evolutionary and doing things new, and is it forever going on to doing things new beyond what's been done with abstract expressions? And then that whole notion of, as an artist, are you venturing forth with the idea, how much is it self-exploration? And you simply, the question, you start with a blank canvas, or you start with something, but you start reacting to what's there, and those reactions are who you are and what you are, and what's distinctive about whatever it is.
And every artist uses different things. Like some people just put a blank canvas on, and then whatever they feel at the moment they throw on, and that's one way. For me, this is a new way. I've made thousands of paintings old school way, and this is a new way to get like this, and it's like I start talking to this machine. I mean, it's really creepy. I feel like I have this relationship with this thing that it and I are, and I just say, okay, well, here we go.
You don't need a therapist.
I don't think, well, you know, ChatGPT, the talking kind, that is wild. Because I've had conversations with talking ChatGPT that are just trippy. Yes.
But anyway, so I love the idea that this is all self-referential. This is.
Oh, it's completely self-referential.
Cycling.
Yeah. And when I wanted to do something, like I want something shiny, I'll build a sculpture out of foil and take a picture of it, and then give it that picture of foil and give it one of my old paintings that was all paint, and it'll just go, "Ugh." And it'll come up with this weird, like, shiny thing. Oh man, that was so wild.
Yeah, isn't that always the problem for artists, is like that point where you start imitating yourself? Like both musical artists and I guess visual artists too, they can get to this place where everything just becomes rote or whatever.
Yeah.
And so this is in a way that you're challenging that in a way that's
Challenging it, and it's, you know, it's what you want to do as an artist, just sort of keep asking, so you don't become formulaic. Tim here is an artist that I've known forever, and he went to Cal Arts too, and I think Tim is always, I don't know if he knows where Tim ever over there, but he's always like infused, if this one you think you figured him out, he does something completely different. And I think that's very brave for an artist to do that, because it's really easy to fall into a kind of mannered, same old way of working.
It's also very brave of the gallery.
It's very brave of the gallery to show them too. Oh, I've been, yeah, right.
And now we're talking about Rosamund, because she went through, 4 or 5 different stylistic.
Well, Rosamund was really great about just diving in, thinking like an artist, not a dealer.
So when you were at school, David, did your professors talk to you about Anton not being formulaic?
I went to Cal Arts and they didn't even like painting. So they were like, which forced me to really think about what even painting was. And I remember coming out, building this painting and making sort of this abstract painting and being like, what do you think? And one of the teachers, and I said, the edges don't seem to be working. He said, well, just saw them off. And that started me down the road of shaped art. But it was just, they just thought always outside the box. And I don't even think they liked painting very much. So it kind of put you on the defensive, which was kind of cool, because, you know, you didn't.
So you were already
already
unpopular anyway.
Yeah, you were.
But actually, you know, we use the term formulaic, and I remember that was part of my education. I remember my professor, David Lloyd, I could hear him saying, you know, you don't go to there's no formula for it.
No, there is no formula.
If you were being formulaic, you were in trouble.
Well, artists find vocabularies that they use over and over again. You get chops, and you use your chops to do things, but you have to always check yourself. Is somebody falling into this pattern?
No, and I remember there was actually a David Lloyd show at UCLA. It was Prince when I was a graduate student, and I remember he wrote on one of his prints, "Same goddamn formula." So he was actually also upset at himself because he felt
he went through a bunch of
he was
different
repeating himself.
Right, exactly, and that's what I think that the.
So I really, you know, that voice in my head said, don't be formulaic.
But the marketplace rewards formulaic thinking, so you're in a sort of a tough spot. I mean, I think that's why artists teach, is if they can, is just to free themselves without even having to worry about selling a work of art. Not that you make any money teaching, but.
Right.